What's good, YouTube? It's your boy 3 Stacks. And you know I keep it 3,000. Hey man, if I'm lying, I'm flying. Wait, nah, bro. Enjoy the video. What's good, YouTube? It's 3 Stacks. You feel me? I know it's been a minute. I've been missing y'all. I know y'all been missing me, or at least I hope so. But I've been working, bro. Like, I've been working. I'm sorry, bro. I've been working, but it's okay though. We finna get back to it. So today we got the pizza bomber, weirdest case in FBI history. And you know what I'm saying? This is a video where I'll do Zevi. Subscribe, like the video, and let's get right into it.
Meet Brian, a man who had an explosive device strapped around his neck and was forced to rob a bank. Now, if you thought what I said was weird, wait till I introduce you to the people responsible for this crime. Now, this part right here is a YouTube exclusive, this explanation, because I can go into a little more detail about our cast of characters. Now, the people who committed this crime are named Will, Marjorie, and Barnes. We'll start with Barnes. Barnes, small town drug dealer. Nothing too big on him. But Marjorie and Will are described as highly intelligent, but basically they're insane. Okay. Marjorie, a little history on her is the men around her life would mysteriously disappear. She had a boyfriend in college. I ain't
gonna lie, Marjorie.
Life would mysteriously disappear. She had a boy.
You fell off, my baby. Like a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, they look different in age. Don't get me wrong. She looked like a Ike Harley villain. But like, you look better back then than you do now, baby. You don't even look like a Nickelodeon villain. You just look like a villain.
Her friend in college, she popped him. She had a whole court case. She gets off saying it's self-defense. She then gets a fiance. Her fiance ends up in the hospital one day. Marjorie brings him to the hospital. They said, girl, what happened? She said, oh, you know what? He hit his head. Passes away. She said, dang, that's crazy. She then gets another boyfriend. He passes by an overdose. Now, all this might be a coincidence, sure, but I just want you to understand who you're dealing with before we dive into the story. Okay. Will, described as highly intelligent as well, but he needed the world to see it. He would always do little things to prove he's the smartest person in the room. Take note of all of that. We about to jump into the vertical style video, but this is going to give you a little bit of insight into why crazy things are about to happen. All right, lock in. And just remember, their names are Will, Marjorie, and Barnes. One day, Marjorie said, hey, y'all, I'm broke. They said, all right, girl, what you finna do to get some money? She said, my dad's rich. If I him, I'm finna get some money. Barnes said, okay, girl, I'll do it for you. Just give me 250. She said, 250 what? Barnes said, 250,000. Marjorie said, that makes sense. And this is where Marjorie had a problem. She needed to figure out a way to get $250,000. So she decides, with Barnes and Will, to rob a bank. Now, you keeping up so far. They all decide, rob a bank, get $250,000, pay Barnes, Marjorie's dad. Marjorie gets her dad's money. Now enter Will, who the FBI describes as highly intelligent. They describe Marjorie as highly intelligent as well, but you're about to see that they both have a few issues. Will said, may I help you to plan this robbery? Marjorie and Barnes said, sure, what do you have in mind? Will said, well, you see, I have this explosive collar device I invented. All we got to do is strap it to somebody and make them do the robbery for us. Marjorie and Barnes said, that makes sense. So they call up a pizza spot where Brian was working as a delivery driver. They said, hey, yo, can we get a pizza on our location? Brian said, large or medium? They said, just come to the location, don't matter. Brian said, y'all want some drinks with that? They said, no, thank you, Brian. Just come to the location. Brian said, bet, I'm on my way. Brian drives to the location. Barnes and Will grab him and pull out they say, you better do what we say or you finna have a problem. We need you to rob some banks. They then attach the collar to Brian, the pizza delivery guy's neck. Now here's where things start to get terrifying. Will then says, Brian, I've created a game for you. It's a scavenger hunt. After you rob the bank, you must find 4 keys. These keys will unlock your collar and you will be freed from the explosive device. Now, if you cannot find these keys, then this timer will go off and kaboom. Brian says, Alright. See, another strange part of this story is Brian's calmness throughout the situation. He said, alright, I'm on my way, I'll go do it right now.
Respectfully, if we look at Brian, we can tell Brian is not all the way there. So I feel like this is a situation where highly intelligent people took advantage of someone who maybe wasn't so intelligent and made him do something that he really didn't want to do. But he was so out of touch with his mind that he was like, okay. You feel me?
Brian goes to the bank. He waits in line patiently for his turn. Goes to the teller and says, yo, they about to, blow this thing. Can you give me $250,000? I got 15 minutes. The teller says, Brian says, also I have this that's shaped like a cane that the guy who invented the collar also invented. So can you just... The teller said, I'm sorry, sir, is that a lollipop in your mouth? Brian was sucking on a lollipop. He said, oh yeah, I just saw some in the front, just help myself, excuse me. But really don't mind, I only got 15 though. The bank teller says, it takes way more than 15 minutes to get into the vault to get that much money. That's bank robbery 101, you stupid? Regardless, you seem like a chill guy, let me just give you the money in the cash register. It's about $8,000. Brian said, you did the best you could. Yeah, I'll just take the $8,000. Appreciate you. Takes the money. He starts swinging the money in the cane without a care in the world. On camera. Walks out the bank. They call the police. They say, yo, we just got robbed. Police say, by who? They say, oh, really chill guy. Police say, okay, we on our way. They pull up. They see Brian chilling by his car looking at the scavenger map. He said, where are we going? They said, excuse me, sir, put your hands behind your back. He sits cross-legged. He said, nah, y'all don't understand. Like, I don't got that much time. Like, I got about 15 minutes. This thing about to go off. Police rush behind their cars. They said, oh, no, he tripping. Say that again. Brian said, look, I got to complete this scavenger hunt, Brody. Now, police, from his calm demeanor, thought, okay, he might be lying. They didn't take him seriously. So they evacuate the area just in case, and they call the boom squad. But since there was so much traffic from the evacuations, the boom squad arrived too late. Brian's collar actually goes off and him. Police were shocked. So they immediately check Brian's car and see the scavenger hunt. They follow the scavenger hunt. And they find that there was no way that Brian would have completed the scavenger hunt and got the keys in time. So he was always set to get... And here's where things start to get wicked. Will calls the police and says, police, if I were you, I would look into this lady named Marjorie. She just... her boyfriend. I then helped her hide him in a freezer, and now I'm about to... myself. Now, this was unrelated to the bank robbery. Her boyfriend was a completely other guy. This is another situation. But this got police started on the trail. Police rush over. Lo and behold, they find Marjorie's boyfriend in a freezer. And this leads to an insane series of events where the three of them start snitching on each other. Marjorie says, oh, you snitched on me? Hey, by the way, he has something to do with the pizza guy getting... Barnes then gets dragged into it and he starts snitching on them some more. Will passes from cancer before he can see any jail time, before the police can really hone in their investigation on him. Barnes strikes a deal with the FBI, so he gets 22 years in prison. Marjorie, life in prison. Now here's where things start to get wickeder. Barnes, some other guy involved in the robbery who I didn't mention because he's not that important, and Marjorie say, Brian was so calm because he was in on the plan. Now, the FBI also believes that Brian was involved in the crime at first. Then he found out that the explosive device was real, but at that point it was too late. He was forced to do it anyway. Brian's family and another person involved in the case said that's absolutely not true. Brian was just a regular pizza delivery guy that got roped into this whole mess. That part of the crime still basically remains unsolved. But
I never understood, like, why does it even matter if he was a part of it? He's dead. Like, they literally just trying to rope in the guy who they killed into their robbery. Like, it don't matter. You're going to jail either way.
I want to make a special note for Will, the guy who invented the explosive collar in the first place. As an FBI analyst puts it, he doesn't think this whole thing was about robbing a bank. Like, at first it might have been, but at some point the three criminals lost the plot, and that's what makes this whole case so strange. An FBI analyst says that Will loved to prove how smart he was, and this whole case was an elaborate game to do just that, to prove how smart he was, a scavenger hunt. But then at the end of the game, the participant gets... because no snitches, right? And to be honest, I think the same thing. After reading everything about the case, It seems like Will was just absolutely deranged. And to him, it was never about the money. It was about masterminding an insane event that would prove his intelligence to the world.
Good video. But I ain't gonna lie, man. I know it was a little short video, but trust and believe. Tomorrow we're about to have a longer video. I was just doing this to get something to y'all, and I knew that y'all would like this. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all like the little true crime stuff. I know I like the little true crime stuff. And it's a new YouTuber that I just came across. I know he got 1 mil, but I never seen before, but I'm glad that I did. But it's your boy 3 Stacks. Keep it 3,000. I love y'all. Be safe. And peace.
I got big packs coming on the way. I got big stacks coming out to save. I got Lil Max with me, he the way. It's a big gap between us in the game. In the next life, I'm trying to stay paid. When I die, put my money in